Hello, welcome to my Sunday Front. Today we have Midweek news, and if you like this look, I think I'm gonna upload it. So be sure to check it out and catch it if I do. And I've been growing this channel, so don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. And if you like this show, make sure you share it with your peoples, and we'll get this moving. And continue supporting me, growing this community. But I have midweek news. Yay, hooray. So I'm excited to get through this. It's kind of a lot. Look at that. Really chatty. I was really chatty this morning. But actually, there's some things that I didn't cover that did happen, and I did go over some events, but like I didn't cover everything. And I'm trying to think. So yesterday I was watching a show. It was like a live stream of speeches from the government. Do you guys watch those? I think it's so corny. I mean, they're kind of corny unless they have a grandeur presence, like they demand your attention, and then I'll be sure to tune in. Like if they tell us, I always think, why don't they tell us when those characters show up? Like I want to see them. But instead we had Mike Johnson, the House Speaker, and I was like, oh, it's like, well, I have to do this. It's for my show. And I remember we're gonna have a better year next year. And my channel is gonna be that much more spectacular too. So don't worry, guys. Next year we'll have a different House Speaker. Hopefully we'll have a different, better House Speaker. And I know people, there was a lot of chisme when he was talking. Like there was so much gossiping. Like people were talking, you could hear them speaking over. It was over whatever he was saying. It was so much atmosphere that people wanted to talk about him rather than him talk to us. But let me get through this read. Mike Johnson, House Speaker, spoke to a crowd with anti-Trump rhetoric, a brown-noser that also is anti-life. So he spoke on triggering topics such as abortion and denounced the transfer of powers, threatening the audience with more push, leveraging off all too familiar, "You elected a dictator, now you're really gonna be sorry" narrative that's so boring very much yesterday. He also engaged in the discussion about this pull in political futures, talking how great a deal he's getting next year, showing off his use of ideal networking when media news outlets cited his entire career and position accidental or accident. See? LOLs. He actually has a reputation for position. This one's hard, guys. Follow with me. Bear with me. Just one moment. Just bear with me 1 second. He actually has a reputation for positioning himself as a lackey to the Republican GOP. He's not really committed or invested, even down bad for that matter. For this is a total Chad move, bragging about the House W for Democrats when Republicans are inches away. This was at 6:35 and Wednesday, November 13th, 2024. 2 votes to be exact from total and complete control to govern and policy. This whole process menu is historic based. So to sum up what happened, he showed up at the podium and he was like, guess what? Next year is gonna be spectacular because, like, I know so many dudes in policy. Like, I can just get in. He was like, dude, it's in the bag. Like, I'm gonna get my bag. He's like, this next term, forget about it. It's done. It's a done deal. And so the media outlets called him on his cap, and they were like, actually, you know, his position is an accidental one. They were like, actually, he's like, what he's bragging about is actually still in the works. Like, we haven't even finished counting yet. Like, you never know the outcome. And they're like, you know, talking about how, you know, he was like such a brown noser that he literally could be just, you know, that easily summoned as a whipping boy. Like, they really just kind of clowned his character. And I'd say it was on accident, like, that it, you know, but like with all, like, if you know who, you know, everything, like, if you follow him, then you could clearly get that imagery from all those reports that were done about his speech. He did cite immigration. Well, I think he's not worth my watch. So TLDR, I clicked off early on, but if you didn't miss anything. That was Harris Walsh-Simpson's entire nomination focus in policy, someone else's prejudice. And boy, do they know biases, because what did Guatemala do when an organization from this lovely country aided in reform and resettlement of 300 deportees who had also registered in case Trump won for work permits. Now, 300 people had been in the process of boarding a plane back to where they came from, Guatemala. They were part of a program from a group that is based in Guatemala. From Guatemala. It's a Guatemalan organization that aids in the resettlement of deportees from the United States of America. So they were in this program, which was part of the deportation process. So they had already been deported officially. They were just waiting for the plane to arrive. And so that organization helps them do all the footwork and all the other things from here on this side all the way to the other side, to where they can, like, restructure their household entirely. And so that, I think that's a really important organization, but also that's a lot of families, 300 people, and they have no room to talk. Like, that's from one country. Like, that is literal, policy red flags. Like, and chances are with the Harris, the Biden admin alone, they're not wrong. So, like, he said a lot, but you know what I'm saying? What he didn't say, it's even deafening. They excitedly spoke during interview with media on cam about how Trump would be helpful to working class people across backgrounds and ethnicities. They gave facts about the process and how they wanted their families to see such success in their own personal lives, to grow and thrive their own personal lives to grow and thrive in, just as we can. So a lot, like when Trump won, they were kind of excited, even though they were, in the process of flying out, once again, to rejoin their communities. They had basically already registered for work permits, because they thought, Trump is like a positive, um, you know, it's like, a positive, promising thing for people who do want to be here and kind of, want to be part of the workforce or seek employment or just have a better, a better life in America. And they see that with his administration that they can grow and thrive in America. And I think that we all can. So in other Biden admin immigration news, some Middle Eastern refugees spoke out over the weekend about jobs they acquired through Biden-Harris programs, more programs, and that were overseas. They still flew in for with their entire families in tow. Those programs had them promised career, income, and housing units that they could not keep up with. They quickly were swallowed by overachievers and high rent, where some felt pressured by evictions. They continued applying for more programs, seeing more and more tireless wasted savings, time, and planning. This corruption putting pressure on their status, and because now they are on the verge of debt or having debt in the near future, giving up and flying back penniless because of Skamala is sooner to hit as a reality. So I call her Scamala because, well, I'm not saying her name right, huh? But anyways, see, when they came in the programs overseas, they had been promised this job position, this, housing, like almost like permanency here. Like they were like looking forward to staying, for some time and, achieving the dream. But regardless of their, of their status, they had, in fact, actually paid a sum that was uncomfortable, for them, as far as rent and all the bills and everything was just piling up. And, the programs had assisted them in connecting them to these things. But for some reason, the Biden-Harris administration, they had a lot of corruption going on. And those jobs were, they went to somebody who did the job like, like that. And it was like, whatever income they had was just like, it couldn't even barely probably sustain their entire family in the first place, because like I said, the bills were so that they couldn't really afford it. This is not the economy. You can just come over here that easily and and achieve your dreams. And I think it's hard for us to do it ourselves. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. And I think, you hear a lot with the rhetoric, well, they're taking our jobs. And, like you hear a lot of that, and that comes from because the Biden admin influence, they're so biased and spiteful and hateful of others who can achieve with, just by having the skill sets they have, and that's what we like to see, people with intentions that are good and pure and, they're, family oriented even. Like that's, what I'm saying? How do you go wrong? But with the influence that they have, people want to speculate, because I mean, you know, like, it's just not, I don't think, it just doesn't marry very well with solutions and resolution and, you know, unity, you know, because like that's, I think that we lost a lot of in the first place. And being welcome to other cultures and ethnicities, I think that we miss that a lot, you know, because, you know, it was kind of ostracizing. And I think that if we can reach out and say, hey, you know what, we got a new president, you know, the president-elect, you know what I mean? He's got your back. Like, that would be a totally entire different atmosphere than what we have been seeing, and in saying all these regurgitated rhetorics that come from the Biden admin where, no, you're gonna fail. You know, it's like, you're gonna fail. You know, the only reason you know that is because of what Biden admin taught you. And she and he poked your eyes out. So I think it's like the cycle of abuse. You know what I mean? Like, you kick somebody when they're down because that's what you know and experienced. You know, they say hurt people hurt people. But hopefully with this new administration, you know, we can kind of toughen up a little bit and be more graceful in our ways. And I think that because we're all in this together, in case you missed it, we're in this together, guys. You know, and having a new president, it brings us in, you know, it brings us in this pool of wealth, of success. You know, it brings us a W. There's no need to have negativity when it comes to your neighbor. You know, we're supposed to be about that brotherhood, at least here in the Red Pill. So, I really could care less for all that regurgitated racial tone deafness, in case I need to say it again. And speaking of girls, Trump's all-star team elect is slowly being leaked, with Elon Musk, Vivek Ramaswamy, on for a newly formed Department of Efficiency. I'm going to say it again, Department of Efficiency. A new agency to provide current accuracy in budget and financing. Literally something even a $1 billion nomination couldn't figure out. And in case you missed it, 20 milli is the ballpark of debt Democrat GOP presidential candidate of 2024. Boo-hoo. Harris now owes, but she hates publicly. And obviously, those first responders, not to fret, Thomas Douglas Homan, a former policeman, was designated as director of ICE. And a girl, yes, a girl, Ms. Christy Lynn Arnold Noam, as a Secretary of Homeland Security. She is the 33rd governor of South Dakota, replacing Alejandro the Fridge Mayorkas. If you know, you know. Just another one of Harris' stints. The ocean around the globe is picking up tropical moisture, so keep checking your local alerts. Here in Cincinnati, Ohio, it's been chilly. I turned up the heat the past couple days, and it's been mostly cloudy. Rain forecasted tomorrow, more to come next week, but between time, it's gonna be cloudy, 60s, 50s, and next Friday says partly sunny at 47 degrees. Brr. So, yeah, that I checked the weather around the globe. It's, like I said, pretty wet. And in Cincinnati, it's been cold. We've been having a lot of cold. It's cold in here. Oh, I turned down the heater because it makes so much noise. But the past couple of days, like I said, it's been cloudy, and it's gonna be cloudy and probably rainy tomorrow. And next week we'll have some rain, but lots of clouds. In typhoon news, we have Yingqing. You remember that? It's now bothering Vietnam and surrounding areas, still as a tropical depression. So it did, in fact, end up moving into Vietnam, and as of now is considered downgraded into tropical depression. New typhoon Usagi, aka Ophel, a very serious storm, will affect the following islands: northern Philippines, southeastern Taiwan, and the lower Japanese islands. Ophel, as you know, Typhoon Usagi is expected today. So I made sure to note that because this is already an alert. So make sure, guys, keep checking your local alerts if you're experiencing monsoon weather. And Toraji is spinning into a U-turn nearest Hong Kong. So it's like going around like that. Like here's Hong Kong, it's going like that, like just making a U-turn in front of it, like. And Manji, I told you guys there was a typhoon forming named Manji. It's supposed to affect Guam, right? This is also a strong storm, so it's like it has like it's like right now it's considered like the strongest of storm, but it's, you know what I mean, like it has this potential, and we can tell when it's got that potential because it has like this I guess pronounced gust of winds and stuff like that. Like it has characteristics like that are unprecedented, and that's how we determine with a lot of other math stuff boring things. But once it approaches more residential area, Luzon to be precise, it should have already intensified. So like I said, it's gonna go to the Philippines, and but like it's supposed to be like Guam, Philippines, right? But once it gets into the open ocean, after it passes residential area, it was supposed to be like bigger. So it's the next storm, I believe, headed that way. Now media outlets report 4 at once is abnormal, as experts have weighed in, citing the hyperactivity and damage catastrophe this climate change has caused. The UN also held its climate change meet, COP29, has gained a more open-minded audience this year. There's precedence for more to come. Lives to be positively impacted and changing bipartisanship when talking preparations and natural disaster crisis. So the media's outlets have reported that 4 is alarming. Experts say that 4 is actually unusual. And they stressed, the impacts that it's had on the environment, and the UN actually is kind of strange because the UN also is having this meet called COP29, their climate change meeting that they have. They have a bunch of world leaders that fly in. It looks like so much fun. But this year there are people who have a weather mentality, and they were literally, prepared mentally for the meet. I would say, like, I have heard some of them speak because I think they were talking at pressers, and they were saying some good things that I wanted to hear. You know what I mean? Like, I like to hear that people have interest, like genuine interest. They're not just like afraid of like sanctions or something crazy. Like, I just want to hear that, you take preparation seriously. That's what I love hearing, that, that you care about your people, and, your initiatives include, you know, to the T, climate change, like, because we have to, really dig down and get in there and do our, our research before, we can really feel comfortable, just having our policies, so that, in case something happens as far as a disaster crisis, natural or otherwise, we need to know, that we're doing the best, and bringing our best. And that's why these type of meetings are important, because we can all gather our minds and put all of our, our thoughts together and generate, some outcomes. And also, like, you just kind of get some the spirit up, and kind of, generate the energy, the vibes to, get a roll on this stuff. So Tropical Storm Sarah, a storm brewing in the Caribbean near Central America, causing moisture from Haiti to Central America with an 80% chance of development within 48 hours, and by Monday should see improvements in strength, forming and developing into a tropical depression. This storm will gain momentum, head northwest, approaching the Gulf of Mexico, whereas everyone fears and forecasts with visuals Florida impacts. So this is pretty severe. They're saying that Tropical Storm Sarah, there's a storm near the Caribbean, near Central America, and people are already speculating that it has a potential for hurricane strength. And it is like appearing to gain momentum really early on. So, I kind of heeded to those warnings of, obviously, in this show, I want to be completely, mindful when it comes to you guys. So when I'm saying that, it's Monday should see an improvement, like, it's supposed to be a tropical depression by Monday and move up to the Gulf of Mexico. So we don't have a track after that, and people have, because there's moisture in Florida right now, they're thinking that it's going to move in that direction, to where it kind of, it kind of piggybacks some of that tropical moisture that's already there, so I guess we're actually watching this one. So it has like a great chance of developing sooner than Monday, and we need to monitor it some more. Now, wildfires. New York is seeing devastating wildfires. One park ranger has passed. He has died. A suspended train that treks from New York to New Haven. And also air quality suffers as well in New York because of the fires. So, yeah, park ranger lost his life due to the fires. And, they're saying that the air is really affected by the smoke, that they already have problems with the air, so the air quality is pretty low, probably fairly low as compared to before. And there was a train that goes from New York to New Haven that had to be suspended. So that's some real news, West Virginia, Pennsylvania, North Carolina, New York, New Jersey, Massachusetts, and California. All of these are affected by wildfires. In Southern California, with viral videos are showing evacuations and attempts to wrangle the fire at the head. As this firefight continues, many fear this is worsening by climate change, though much positivity is predicted by implementing the new changes in how to handle and deal with the extinguishing part. So a lot of people are thinking of climate change when fighting the fires. They are thinking also that positively when it comes to the actual battle, how to implement the new, I guess they have new ways that they deal with this and actually battle them. So when it comes to extinguishing them, they're really positive that the new changes will bring about, real, productivity. So I'm looking forward to that. In Colombia, a volcano known as El Aburrido or Cacahual in Antioquia, Colombia, activated alerts which were sent to local residents from the government, warning them to be cautious, on the safe side, and act in prevention of loss. 16 families, 65 total children, some from nearby schools, were evacuated. Huge rocks injured 8 people. 5 people fainted. All were safely taken to the hospital, and reports of property damage as well. So I'm going to stop right here. In Colombia, in Antioquia, Colombia, there's a volcano called Cacahual. They nicknamed it El Aburrido. It went off, and the government immediately ordered alerts, and the people were sent them, though there were 8 people injured and 5 people fainted, and also a bunch of houses had suffered some damage, but they were all safely taken to hospitals. And I think it's like a little bit of good news that they had sent the alerts in time and had prevented more injuries or what have you. So now neighboring Choco was swamped with flash floods. Venezuela's Maduro had been reaching out to lend a hand to Altajuara, Bogota too. They say 150,000 people were affected by the floods. They counted 30,000 families now displaced and declared this crisis ongoing, saying they were responding to the task accordingly. In case you missed it, Altajuara, Bogota, and Choco. These places are in Colombia as well, and they were affected by a flash flood. And this flood was so great that it displaced 30,000 families. And so Nicolas Maduro, he reached out. He's the leader of Venezuela, and he told them, he would aid them with whatever they were needing. And even today, they spoke to news media outlets stating that they were on, they were on the job and really trying to work hard at tackling it, and are determined, so yeah, they're saying that it's still an ongoing situation that they need to not closely monitor, but they need to actually, productively try to respond to. So they're trying to keep everybody safe and try to, get everybody, back to, a place where they're comfortable, because like I said, there's 30,000 displaced people, that need now shelter, because right now it's still a lot of water. It's inundated. And at first I had thought, well, it was just one, part, but it's like a widespread problem. So that becomes like an issue, especially with displacement, and providing assistance such as aid and, also humanitarian effort. Like, if it was like especially because it was probably a natural thing, like when you get natural disaster crisis, you kind of have to, scramble whatever you can right then and there. And I think that's why Venezuela kind of reached out a hand, because it kind of took everybody by surprise, especially the amount of water. And so hopefully that, dries up soon, and, no more people not in that, that much, amount of people who further be affected. And yeah, I hope they get all the assistance they need, those families. And so if you like my show, hit the like button. So don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And I'll see you in the next one. My son, different. Bye-bye.